Hi dear friends and subscribers, once again welcome to the Cricket Happening Show. I'm still under the weather, but Cricket Happenings is something which I really love doing, and that's the reason I'm here, dear fans, friends and subscribers. So in this part of the Cricket Happening Show, we are going to look at the Ashes Test Series where England have retained the Ashes. Rain was the spoil sport today, with in fact, because there's only one day left, Michael Clarke, as expected, declared the innings closed on the overnight score and had the Englishman in all sorts of trouble at 37 for 3, and then the rains intervened and it was all over. Till lunch, play went on for some time, and then there was no play possible, and thus England retaining the Ashes with two more tests to go. So that I'll be talking about, and then we'll also have a look because, as you know, cricket, we have all been looking at test matches, international matches. So basically, this YouTube slot has not been giving me an opportunity to talk on the Caribbean Premier League. Probably I would have done it a bit briefly, but today we will look at two matches which were played in the Caribbean Premier League. But let's first head towards the Ashes and look at what happened, and also do some analysis of what were the positives that came out of this particular test match. Now, as far as England were concerned, England was set a target of 332 runs to win the match, and Alistair Cook and Joe Root, as expected, opened the innings, and it was an early taste of success for I'm sorry, it was an early taste of success for Australia, with Ryan Harris actually bowling a very probing line, getting the ball to move away from the batsman, and suddenly got a ball which was bowled in a very wonderful way. It was absolutely pitched in line of the stumps. I would say it was just pitched, probably in the line of the off stump, and the ball just moved a shade and struck Alistair Cook on the pads. Up went the appeal. Cook went for a review, but to no avail, as Alistair Cook was gone. LBW bowled Ryan Harris for a duck. So that was the first wicket. With England yet to score, England had lost their first wicket. Joe Root was joined in by Jonathan Trott. Jonathan Trott, well, I wouldn't say he was looking convincing. He was looking a bit shaky too. And Harris once again bowling the similar way that he was doing for to Cook and Root. He kept moving the ball away from the batsman, and then he got Jonathan Trott to actually go for a leg glance, which he tried and had in behind the stumps, took the catch of the bowling of Harris, and there were 2 wickets down for 15 with Jonathan Trott back into the pavilion. Joe Root was joined by the most prolific scorer in English cricket, Kevin Pietersen, and the most prolific scorer in English cricket had a real surprise, as it was a similar situation to what we saw in the first innings, when there was a decision which was given. I'm just trying to remember who the batsman was at that particular juncture, but that was something which it was Usman Khawaja of Australia who were at the rough end of the stick. And today the rough end of the stick went to the England batsman Kevin Pietersen, when Peter Siddle got a ball which probably one thought would have missed the edge of the bat and snuggled into the gloves of Brad Haddin. The Australian players appealed, and it was a similar situation to what happened with Usman Khawaja. The umpire at the centre, Tony Hill, adjudged him out, and then Peterson immediately was absolutely unhappy, shaking his head, went for the decision review, and Kumar Dharmasena once again was the umpire who had to adjudicate on this, and Kumar Dharmasena endorsed what Tony Hill did on the field by upholding the appeal, and Kevin Pietersen had to walk off. What a sad thing. Kevin Pietersen walked off, caught hand in bowled Siddle for 8 with 1 boundary, and that made the England score look a shaky 27 for 3. But definitely Australia had put these England innings on the ropes. But what was good for England is that the rain gods were there to save them. The rains intervened, and that was it. After that, there was no further play possible. Joe Root was not out on 13 with 1 boundary. Ian Bell was not out on 4, and that was it. The curtain had come down on the third test of the Ashes Test series, thus England retaining the Ashes, and now 2 more to go, with the 4th Test match coming in to be played at Chesterley Street in Durham. Well, as far as the bowling figures are concerned, Harris was absolutely on money. He bowled splendidly, I thought, in this particular Test match, and especially in the second innings. He was all over the Englishman, and he bowled 7 over 3 minutes 2 for 13. I don't want to really go into the bowling figures. And what I'm going to add, man of the match went to Michael Clarke, the Australian captain. Now for Australia, I thought this particular Test match was totally dominated by Australia. The reason, right from day one, they were dominating it, whether it was with the bat or it was with the ball. They thoroughly did their job, and they didn't allow, what was good is they didn't allow England to make get a victory, one more victory, and really seal the the box on Australia. Well, they didn't do that. They put up a much improved performance in this particular Test match. Yes, it was quite a different thing that the batting was pretty easy on this particular placid pitch. The ball was nicely coming onto the bat to score runs. And another thing that I would like to talk here is that today we also saw some balls really getting a lot of bounce. When Ian Bell, as you know, got a ball which actually hit his thumb and went to Michael Clarke, and Michael Clarke actually dropped that catch, which for me, according to the slip standards that has been set by Australia, I thought Michael Clarke should have taken that catch, but he grasped it. Well, it didn't really matter in the end. As far as Australia is concerned, well, they have a lot of things to look out for. Michael Clarke has led from the front. They would be very happy with the Chris Rogers form. Finally, after he was selected, finally he has come good. And then Stephen Smith also did himself a lot of good by making 89. And then we had Brad Haddin and Mitchell Starc getting on to 50s, contributing 65 and 66 respectively. Bowling, well, Swan did his job. We're taking 5 wickets. For England, they have Alistair Cook made 62. Kevin Pietersen has become the most prolific run getter in English cricket history by making 113. So that was good for them. Other than that, Nathan Lyon couldn't make much of an impression, got only 1 wicket. Australia, in their second dig, making 172 for 7 declared. They tried to get some quick runs, and that was the right approach by Australia, but unfortunately the rains intervened and it was all over. So the third Test match is all over. England have retained the Ashes in 2013. So that's a proud moment. All the England players came onto the balcony and were really clapping, and they were applauding themselves for having retained the Ashes, and why not? They truly deserve that with their performance. But Australia will go pretty confident now into the 4th Test match. They have 2 more Test matches, so it could still be that this they still have an opportunity to go and actually draw the Ashes Test series. But we know it's not going to be so easy with England. But well, at least they have an opportunity to do that. Well, dear fans and subscribers, now let's get a move on from here into the Caribbean Premier League. The Caribbean Premier League has been put into the shade, unfortunately, due to all sorts of cricket events happening here. Caribbean Premier League, as you know, this is the first time that a Caribbean Premier League has been floated. We have all the international names into the mix, and as one would have read about Tony Cozier mentioning that they opened it up to the private parties, the West Indies Cricket Board, and that has really helped matters, with the crowds really flocking in and enjoying every bit of that excitement which is happening in the Caribbean Premier League, which is very good to know. So there's a lot of gate money coming in for the West Indies Cricket Board. It was good to know that they opened it up to the private parties, and they have done a wonderful job. They have definitely gone into the books, in the sense they have definitely taken a leaf out of the Indian Premier League and all other leagues to have lots of excitement and fanfare while the match is going on. Well, today we had a match in the Caribbean Premier League. This was a match between Guyana Amazon Warriors versus St Lucia Zouks. Guyana Amazon Warriors were the ones who batted first, making 126 for 6. 38 from Lendy Simmons of 42 balls with 5 fours, the principal contributors. Barnwell at the end. In fact, they got off to a very, very whirlwind start with Martin Guptill and Lendl Simmons raising 34 in just 28 balls. They raised 34 runs. But after that, there was a bit of a dawdle as they lost the wickets of Hafiz for 13. Sarwan was out for 8. Dion Orion for a not. And Franklin was out for 3. And then again, it was left to the pyrotechnics of Chris Barnwell, who smashed 29 runs of 14 balls with 2 fours and 2 sixes. And Dinesh Ramadhan not out 13. 126 for 5. And the bowling, well, 3 wickets for 23 for Shane Chillingford. 1 wicket apiece to Mathurin and 1 wicket for Tino Best. Now, as far as St Lucia zouks innings was concerned, they definitely didn't have it easy. They had to really struggle, losing Tamim Iqbal for 6. Andrew Fletcher made 23, and Misbah ul Haq was the one who actually took them to victory by smiting 2 sixes when some runs were required. And he had contributed an unbeaten 49 of 33 balls with 4 sixes and no boundaries, and he was the one who took them to victory, and he was the man of the match, rightly so. Now, and as far as the bowling was concerned, wickets shared by Permaul, Sunil Narine and Dhararan. So all the wickets going to the spinners there. And then we look at the another match which was played at the Providence Stadium in Guyana, where Antigua Hawksbills were taking on the Jamiaca Tallawahs, and Antigua Hawksbills made 117 for 7, batting first. Kieran Powell made 38 of 35 balls, 1 4 and 2 0, was the highest scorer there. Johnson Charles contributed only 7. Ricky Ponting made 19 of 26 balls with 1 4. Marlon Samuels was dismissed cheaply for 8. Devon Thomas was out for 1, and this was done in 1 over when Muthiah Muralidharan, the veteran, picked up 2 wickets. He picked up 2 wickets in an over, and that was the 2 wickets that he picked up, Marlon Samuels and Devon Thomas. Justin Kemp contributed 19 and 117 for 7 on the board for the Antigua Hawksbills. Was never looking to be a good score. Bowling, well, Vernon Philander, as you know, he's not a person who has been given a lot of opportunities in T20s. He has basically been kept in the South African team as a specialist, seam bowler, specialist bowler who is a wicket-taking bowler. But Vernon Philander probably has already made his intentions very clear, as one would have heard, that he said that he would like to become a part of the South African outfit in all the 3 formats, and that is something. And definitely Vernon Philander today proved that why he has actually made that statement by bowling 4 overs for 16 runs and picking up 3 wickets. Chris Gayle 2 for 22 and 2 for 18 for Muthiah Muralidharan, and that was the Antigua Hawksbills score, 117 for 7 of the 20 overs. As far as the Jamaica Tallawahs innings were concerned, Chris Gayle, the captain, was out pretty early, out for 11, caught and bowled by Cornwall. Ahmed Shahzad was out for 10, and Bonner was out for 21, and then finally it took Andre Russell to smash an unbeaten 42 of 23 balls, 4 fours and 3 sixes. Danzo Hayat kept him company with 25 of 29 balls with 2 fours and 1 six, unbeaten 25 at that, and Jamaica Tallawahs were home with 7 wickets to spare. Bowling, nothing to really talk about. Kemaru's 1 for 17, 1 for 14 for Samuels. Cornwall took 1 for 6. The man of the match went to Vernon Philander for his very economical bowling and also picking up 3 wickets in the bargain. So, well, dear fans and subscribers, as you know, I would like to talk a lot about cricket. I really love talking about cricket, and you know, I tried my best. As you know, you would have really noticed on this Cricket Happening show that I was coughing a bit. Well, it really irritates me when I do the talking. But as I said, cricket is very dear to me. I don't fail upon the opportunity to do my cricket show daily, and that's what I do. It's like brushing my teeth for me. Cricket show. That's the passion that I have for this fantastic game of cricket. Well, dear fans, friends and subscribers, on this very note, I am going to end my cricket show. Thanks for being very patient in bearing with me for all these 3 days, where probably one would have found that my enthusiasm or the motivation might have been lacking. But I'm always here to do this cricket show, which is the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram. Thank you.